Death Watch.
Welcome back to Cradle of the World, a Dungeons & Dragons 3.5/Pathfinder First Edition campaign by Death Watch Productions. Now we will rejoin our heroes. At the end of last session, Graham was walking back to the village on the surface of the ocean, being followed by a pod of orcas, without a real understanding of how he got out there. Fenrith had cast Word of Recall after the world collapsed on him and made it back to the home of the heroes. Casimir had made it out of the complex that was collapsing and down a staircase to a beautiful silver door, which he opened that led to a large room, and Rohan was trapped deep in the earth, wriggling through a tight tunnel, barely wide enough to fit through. He had reached a point where the tunnel angled sharply down into water and then sharply again after 10 feet. He cast dancing lights so he could see and now he will have to decide if he's going to risk going in the water. But really, what choice does he have? First, we'll introduce our heroes, starting with Chris.
Hi, I'm Chris. I'm playing Casimir, hero of the Roc, and I'm ready to play.
Hi, I'm Travis. I'm playing Graham, hero of the sea, and I've had some time to think. I'm going to join this pod of orcas rather than face the shame of yet another Graham failure, even though it was an evil wizard. But I have higher wisdom now, so it hits me a little harder.
And I'm Justin, playing Rohan, hero of the sky, who is, strengthening his crippling fear of tight spaces right now.
And I'm John, playing Fenrith, hero of the flame, and I'm going to start looking for replacement heroes since I'm the only one to survive.
Okay. So, we'll pick it back up with you, Rohan.
All right. Seeing that it bends down below, I'm going to hope that it comes out somewhere that's a little dry and try and force the water through that pipe by using my last gust of wind that's in my armor, or in my ring.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I'll shoot gust of wind, 50 mile an hour wind gust. I'll put my hand underneath the water a little bit to try and force it forward.
All right. So yeah, you reach down and put your hand in the water and use gust of wind. And, it's extremely loud in these tight quarters. And you do see the water, because there's about 10 feet straight down and then it curves sharply. And you do see the water being pushed by the wind. Once it gets around the corner, you're not sure what happens there. But after the wind dies down, the water returns, but now not very much water is left.
Okay.
So the section that you're looking down doesn't have any, and just a little bit comes to that corner there where you would turn.
All right. So I'll use the rest of that round to start wriggling my way down.
Okay. All right. So you wiggle, through here. You got to squeeze really tight, and then you come to that sharp corner. And so we're going to have to get some sort of roll from you to squeeze and turn the proper way to get in here.
Well, I've got an escape artist that I could try in the tower.
Yes.
You need to start carrying some personal lubricant with you at all times if this is going to keep happening, Justin.
Are we going to get on the topic of elves and self-created personal lubricants?
Yeah. Is that a topic?
I think we've had those discussions at some point.
All right. So as you are squirming down there, so wait, I guess that's the question. Did you want to go ahead? Well, you can't. You have no other choice. So
Yeah.
So you squirm down there head first, and, no matter how heroic you are, your back only bends back so far. So the way you've got to get in here is facing up.
Yeah.
So now you'll be having to pull yourself with your head facing the direction you're going now.
Okay.
But you do manage to get there, and you can see when you crane your head back, you're not really able to get into a good position to see very far.
Okay. And I do still have dark vision on. It should last a little while longer.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, it's just a matter of the angle.
Okay. I'm still holding it together.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll keep pushing my way forward, scrambling to try and survive.
Okay. All right. So you start, squirming your way in that direction, and that's what you're doing. And then we'll go back over to Fenrith.
So if I remember correctly, I healed myself a couple times and then started walking out of the home of the heroes.
Yeah. Yeah. Full One had confronted you with the spear, but when he recognized it was you, he's like, "Oh, glad you're back."
All right.
And yeah.
I will do another channel energy and continue walking. So I'm going to be heading in the direction of the rock cliffs. Do we have any horses in this village? I don't know that I've ever.
No.
I think it was just that mule, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I will just continue on towards the rock cliffs.
Okay.
That is my
All right.
turn.
So yeah, you heal yourself, and then you start heading off in that direction. Now, you guys weren't in that temple very long at all, so it's still storming outside. Still real bad rain, thunderstorm. So you're dealing with the weather, but you start heading off in that direction. And then Graham.
Yeah, one of the things I thought is I have this language sitting in my head from those old hero memories is that I might try to speak Aquan to these orcas and see if they respond to it.
Oh, okay.
There's a little meta knowledge coming into it because I know whales are supposed to be pretty smart as far as mammals go, but I'll just give it a shot. See if I can. I'll be like, hey, you guys stay over there and I'll stay up here. We're good, right? But I'll say that in Aquan.
Okay.
Or shout it, probably.
All right. Yeah. So you shout down at the large shadows underneath you.
They respond in common. We're just here to help you, Graham.
And if I do strike up a friendship, I want to come back onto the village straddling a couple of, a foot on one whale, foot on the other.
Yeah.
Like holding the fins.
Force them to beach themselves.
Yeah.
Just go right up there.
But there is no evidence that they understand you. They haven't made any threatening moves towards you. They just seem to be following.
Maybe you should clap your hands together in kind of a floppy motion and maybe make a kind of a barking noise at them.
Well, it was just outside chance, so I'll keep hustling along over the top of the waves towards the land. Am I seeing it now that I've traveled for a bit? Or I just still have the memory of where it was from?
Yeah, you still are
Okay.
too far away to be able to see.
I guess we're still going in rounds, aren't we? Yeah.
Yeah, so they're not making any moves against you. And then Casimir. So
Yes,
you had opened this door, and you could see a large room on the other side of it. And so that's where you enter.
All right.
And so now, as you enter, and you get a better sense of the room, you can see that this was a fashioned room, carved out of the stone somehow.
All right.
But it's got, the ceiling is like 60 feet, or I guess in this case, 40 feet. And it's got, so from where you are, you've got 100 feet to the other side. And as you step in more, you get a look at the rest of the room. It's basically a perfect square.
Okay.
And it has pillars, 3 on each side, that rise to the ceiling. And so they've been carved, beautifully, but at one point you can see that they were just carved out of the stone of the room rather than put in, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. The other thing of interest about this room is there's a large throne on the north wall with, steps leading up to it. And that seems to have been carved out of stone as well. And then on the opposite side of the room from that throne, there's a massive door. And that's the only thing that you can see as you step in.
All right. I'll kind of keeping an eye out, make my way across the room over to the other large door.
Okay, so this door is much wider than the one you came in, but it's also built that it's the same style, like a double door with its intricate carvings and scroll work on it, and also made of a strange silvery metal. You can see that there are, like the one thing that catches your eye here is that it has the notches or the catches to be barred from inside, but they're 15 feet up.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I'll see if I can give it a push open or a pull. I don't know, whatever it does.
Yeah, it'd be a pull.
Okay.
Yeah, you're able to pull it open.
Yeah. Stick my head out through the door then.
All right. So what do you see as you pull that door open? First of all, you realize that the door fit so perfectly that that when you open it, air rushes into the room from out there, and you smell sulfur faintly coming in. And you look down that hallway, and you can see that the walls and the floor are far too smooth to be natural, and it has sort of like a steeple at the top, that sort of shape to it.
Okay.
But from where you're standing, and what is you have what, dark vision?
Yeah, dark vision and see invisibility.
All right. So for dark vision,
60 feet.
okay. So yeah, so you can see that there is nothing but straight hallway for 60 feet.
All right. I'll start jogging down it then.
Okay. All right. So after about 100 feet, it branches sharply to the left.
All right.
And as you look around that corner, you see another large metal door.
All right. Yeah. Let's jog up to it and see if I can open it.
This one is barred from the inside. The bar is 15 feet up.
Okay.
This door is 50 feet high and also shaped perfectly to match that pointed ceiling. Also with the intricate scroll work on it. But do a linguistics.
Alrighty. There you go.
Okay. So looking at the scroll work and the carvings on this door, you first instinct is, well, it looks just like the others, but something catches your eye, and then as you look at it, you see that it's markedly different. And what you're seeing here is something that looks much more like the dwarven rune magic that you've encountered before. So you don't know a great deal about dwarven rune magic, except that it is a magic and that it follows its own rules. But you can tell by looking at it that this is related to that, what you're seeing here.
All right.
And so it's up to you. Like, you can see that it's barred 15 feet up with the thick bar, seems to be made of the same metal. But with that roll, you can make some sense out of what you're looking at here if you wanted to spend the time.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I'll start deciphering or attempting to some of this dwarven
Okay.
runes.
All right. So you're going to look at those. Rohan. So you are wiggling around along this tight tunnel, and then your head bumps into stone as you're brought to a stop. And you can see that it angles sharply to the left. What is your left?
Okay. Yeah, I'll kind of twist around until I can make the bend around the corner and then continue pushing forward. Do you want another check?
No.
Okay.
No, we don't need one, but you twist around in that direction and you squeeze through and finally manage to get yourself straightened out. And you crawl along this tunnel. I mean, it seems like a long time, but probably only 15 feet.
Okay.
And then you reach an opening, and you can see that it exits into an open space.
Okay. Ooh, yeah. I finished that last burst in a panic.
Okay. Yeah, so you burst out of this hole, and in what turns out to be the floor of this open chamber that you find yourself in. And it's clear that the floor, at least, used to be part of a room. Now, whether that fell from somewhere else or was always here, that's completely unknown to you. But looking at the floor, you can tell that it was made to be a floor. Okay. So you can see the mortar and the flagstone. A lot of it's been damaged by the rubble. But as you squeeze yourself out of this hole into this opening, and you've got a space probably about 20 feet in diameter.
Okay.
At first glance, there's nowhere to go from here because of all the rubble. But that's where you find yourself as you pull yourself up and dust yourself off.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'm going to spend a round just kind of rocking and holding myself as I try and get over the experience of almost being buried alive again and the ability to move in more than one direction.
Okay. Catching your breath. And then Fenrith, you're moving along to the west towards the entrance to that temple.
Yeah.
And so from the home of the heroes, it's pretty much a straight shot along those rocky cliffs to reach that point. And with the storm still battering you and the wind still blowing, you're not, visibility is very poor, and obviously you hear nothing but the weather. But you can see well enough to keep your footing on the stones as you make your way in that direction. But it'll take you a while to get there.
Yeah, figured it would.
Okay, and then Graham, so you keep moving along, and you've now reached the point where you can make out some light up ahead.
Okay.
It's still storming. It's raining pretty bad. But as you look towards the village, now you're starting to see, you're not sure. It seems to you like it's probably from the lighthouse.
Okay.
But at least it's from the general area of the village. And so, you're not, far away now, probably 3 miles or so. Then the orcas are still following you, but they're not bothering you. But let me get okay. Do a perception.
Nicely done.
I should have done that in the tower, though. I just wanted to use the nice little perception button there.
There's a nice little perception button.
Yeah, on the main page. It's down by where your senses are listed.
Mm-hmm. You can still drag that into the...
That's true. Well, can I?
Yeah, that's how I do it.
Okay. Just used to the double clicking for everything.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good perception roll. So you're walking along the ocean, sloshing along the surface of it. And, it's raining and it's thundering. As you can see, these orcas below you keeping pace with you, but that's pretty much all you can see. Because of the magic of your surface walk, even though there's a lot of waves out here, you still keep up on the surface, but it does create sort of a rolling sensation for you as you rise and fall as you're moving along. But it actually is sort of enjoyable in a sense. But you're looking ahead. With that perception, you can tell that that's definitely the lighthouse you're seeing. Somebody's lit it. And you can see some of the lights even from the homes that are closest to the beach. But like I said, you probably got about 3 miles to go.
Okay.
And then, and then Fenrith keeps going. And then Casimir, you're looking at these runes. And you've got that linguistics that you did.
Would detect magic also be a good idea?
Yeah.
I'm going to blow up, aren't I? Okay, I'll use a swift action to negate my fail chance. Nope, come on. There we go. And I will cast detect magic on myself.
Okay.
Or would it have been read magic?
Well, detect will let you detect that there is some magical effects here.
Okay.
Read magic would be better to learn like what it is
Yeah.
based off of looking at it. It's up
Okay.
to you. But I also need a knowledge arcana.
All right.
All right. Oh, geez. Okay. So, so you're looking over this and, some of it, like you got to look higher up to see. And, it doesn't seem like it follows the order that a writing would follow. And, as you're looking at it, you can see that a lot of these runes are distinct. They have their own distinct purpose, but there is definitely a sense of them all also working in concert with each other. So as you're looking over this, you discover that this is a lot like dwarven runes that you've seen before, but they're different enough that it catches your attention. And as you continue, you'll start to see some runes and some script even that mention the name. What was that? Was it on this door? Oh, right. Nur. So you're seeing writing referring to someone named Anam, Annam, and other instances you're seeing someone called the All Father, and you are also seeing the name Surtur, Surtr.
Do I have any knowledge of any of those, or is it just too dwarven for me?
No, it's not dwarven enough. So basically, that's what catches your attention, that this is giant rune magic, right? And according to your studies, it was actually giants that had taught the dwarves the rune magic after having enslaved them for, thousands of years.
Mm-hmm.
The dwarves are said to have learned their rune magic from the giant. So this is like the original style.
Okay.
Of course, that's just like one of the things you've read. The dwarves insist that they learned
They taught themselves
from Moradin.
their
but
god.
but you can definitely see the lineage of the artistry between the two. Like you can definitely tell that the dwarven runes that you've seen before have this as a base.
Okay.
It's sort of how, some of the languages that you can tell are offshoots of other languages.
But other than that, like nothing too hostile in the runes themselves, or
Well, so as far as the runes themselves go, you can tell as you look at the whole that these are runes intended to seal this door from what is on the other side. And that's what the magic is bent towards, is keeping what's on the other side from coming through.
great.
So, but anyway, so you've been looking at this for a while now. And as you're looking at over this door, and you've picked out those names and started to associate the runes with their meaning. And as it becomes more familiar to you, as you continue looking over it, you can see that there was some sort of collaboration between the giants, either the Allfather or either Anam or Surtur or both, and Tarcellus.
Okay.
So, the longer you look at it, the more becomes clear that Tarcellus, or at least those who serve him or work for him, were responsible for the intricate scroll work on these doors. And they obviously owned the property. Like, this was their land.
Mm.
And from what you can tell as you look it over, either Anam or Surtur or both, it's hard to tell because there's like a antagonistic bent to some of the story that you're picking up here.
Mm.
But they were responsible for the runes themselves, and an unknown third party was said to have fashioned the doors and provided the metal for them.
Mm.
So that's what you've determined so far. But there's more.
Okay.
But that's what you've determined so far. And Rohan, you're sitting up and you finally caught your breath and you're looking around, and the fear's starting to slip away now that you've got some space around you.
Yeah.
But as you look around, you see that whatever this place is, it's entirely encased in rubble. So you haven't given it a serious search, walking around and looking, but just from what you can see, there's nowhere to go from here.
Yeah, I'll cast another dancing lights and kind of spread them out around the room in a way that will illuminate everything and start the process of, knocking on various walls, testing rubble and seeing if there's a way of, if there might be a weak point that I could try and push through again.
Okay. You cast this dancing lights and send them about, but at that same time you hear help.
Okay. Do you need a perception check to see if I can pinpoint the location?
Yeah.
Okay. There you go.
Okay. So, it's pretty easy to tell where it came from. So you can head over in that direction, and you can see that that whole section, well, basically everywhere is rubble being held up by the pressure of other rubble, what it looks like. All right. And, but as you go over there to where you heard that voice, on the other side of a large piece of rubble, you see a man laying on the floor, laying in the rubble. So this is probably the same mage that you were battling up before the collapse happened.
I'm going to draw my knife.
No.
Okay. So you can see that he is trapped. Most of his body is free, but his left leg all the way up to mid-thigh is stuck in rubble. And he's obviously in very bad shape. All the rest of him too, bumps and bruises and bleeding from half a dozen cuts and scrapes or whatever. And, he's barely conscious. So he's not really even looking at you as you step over, sort of in your direction.
Okay. I'll try and move a little more stealthy as I approach him, because mages don't need to be completely free to kill you.
Okay.
And then once I'm close enough, I will rush him and try and slit his throat.
Okay. All right. So you're moving over there stealthily, and you can see him. He's sort of like slowly moving his head from side to side. And he says, "Help." And one more time, in a raspy, parched voice. But he doesn't seem to, he's not looking at you. He doesn't seem to have noticed your approach.
Okay. Yeah, I'll attack.
Coup de grace.
Yeah.
If possible, yeah.
Yeah, it'd just be a coup de grace. With your knife?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, so, he doesn't really even notice that you're there, and then you
Jab the dagger through his eye.
Yeah, stab him through the eye, and, gives one jerk, and then he's still.
Okay. Then I'll start searching his body, see if there's anything on it I can use.
Okay. Yeah. So, he seems to have, all of his stuff. He's got a pack that, with some effort you can strip from him, and then he's got his pouches that are still intact.
Okay.
Might as well see if you can find his spell book.
Yeah, it might be in the pack. But yeah, I'll just kind of take stock of what he has.
Okay, let me.
And as I do, I'll cast detect magic on myself, so I can see if there are any magic items in his possession.
Okay, so we have. Okay, yeah. So, he's got a lot of stuff that's magic.
Okay.
You can see in his case, magic aura from bracers that he's wearing.
Okay.
A headband, his cloak.
Okay.
He has a wand,
All right.
and there's a second wand that's broken, so no magic aura is coming from that, but one wand is whole. And
I'll be. Are there any scrolls or anything like that? I seem to remember the other mages, or the mages I've run into so far, using something to teleport, and so I'm going to be searching for anything that looks like it might be that kind of a thing. Only got one identify, and no knowledge arcana. Decent, pretty good spellcraft though.
yeah, he has.
I'm going to toss a spellcraft in the tower. See if I can get a vague idea of what these are after studying them for a minute.
Yeah, go ahead. Okay. You do find a spell book.
Okay.
And you do find 3 scrolls in his pack.
Okay. So I will use a read magic cantrip and see if I can figure out what these scrolls are. This is where I need to find like a picture of his sweetheart and get all depressed.
Wife and kids.
Yeah, a wife with like 6 little kids around her, out in front of like an orphanage that they run together.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So then also you notice that that collar that he was wearing that was sending those black lines across his face.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as you killed him, like those black lines receded and that snapped open.
All right. I'll take that and put it in the pack with the rest of his stuff.
Okay. And then as far as the scrolls go, you were going to look at those?
Yeah.
All right. So one of them is a scroll of, let's see, that one would be Pass Wall.
Ooh.
And then another one is Forceful Hand.
Okay.
And the last one is Secure Shelter.
Okay.
So I will put these in your inventory. Okay, there's Pass Wall, Forceful Hand, and then Secure Shelter. So that's the scrolls you find on him.
Okay. Those are some pretty high-level spells.
Yes. Okay. So I'll just put the rest of the stuff in your inventory, and you can identify it as you get time.
Okay. I do want to use my one identify spell to identify the wand.
Okay.
And I'll keep the broken one just in case we can put it in the gnomish thing and repair it.
I don't know, man. It's starting to make threats.
Yeah, but everything that we run across makes threats to us. I mean, these people showed up out of nowhere and immediately threatened us.
Yeah, that's kind of rude.
Okay, so the wand is a wand of heightened hold person at the fourth level.
Okay. Okay.
So I'll put that in your inventory there. All right, so he's dead, and you've grabbed like the stuff from him.
Yeah, and then
including his spell book.
yeah, that'll be a good one to add to our collection at home if I make it back. And then go back to what I planned on doing before, was looking for thin spots in the wall or any place where I might be able to sense something on the other side of the rubble, an opening.
Okay. So all that stuff's in your inventory now. And then, so you're just going to go around.
Yeah, kind of knocking on walls, and listening, see if I can hear somewhere where it either sounds echoey on the other side, or if I shift rubble a little bit, see if any kind of opening starts to open.
Okay. All right. So you go around doing that, trying to look around, do a search or perception. Sorry.
Perception in the tower.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. So you find two places where, just poking around, looking through the spaces, tapping on things. You find two spaces that you think lead to an opening that you could move through. One is, like chest level, and the other is the ceiling. What constitutes the ceiling of this chamber here?
Okay.
So you'll have to decide. Oh, but also, I should say, you are pretty certain that moving the rubble out of the way in either place is going to lead to
The cave-in.
a cave-in.
Hmm.
So, you'll have to pick one or the other because you won't get a second chance at it.
All right.
And then, Graham, you can see the beach now. So you see the docks, where the boats are, the fishing boats are. You're close enough that you can see those now. It's still storming, but you can see the beach, and you can see the lighthouse up on the cliff, and some lights coming from some of the areas of the village.
Okay. Well, I'll just waltz on to the island like I live there.
Okay. So roll your perception. All right. So, which path would you like to take?
Which part of the island did I come in on?
You're
Like by the hero house?
Yeah, I mean, you're pretty much by the boat docks, so like you can see the hero house up on the cliff there.
Yeah, and there's like a switchback set of
Yeah.
stairs that go directly there. Yeah, I'll go with those.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So you go that way. So you walk across the beach and you get to that, and you start moving up that those ramps, essentially, that are staked into the cliff wall. And when you get to about the middle, you are looking up above you, and you spot three figures moving stealthily up the ramps. So it's hard to get a look at them, because of the angles, but you do know that there's three of them up there sneaking up the ramps.
Well, I'll finish climbing up, but I'll go stealth as well and just try to get closer to them if I can so I can see who they are and what they're about.
Okay. Yeah, so as you get closer to them and there's no sign that they've detected you, you realize that they are goblins.
Are they wearing like the uniforms that we've been seeing recently, or?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, and they're carrying like the muskets.
All right, so I'll wait for them to continue on to where I can like fall in behind them,
Okay.
and I'll start picking them off.
I'm so proud
Why?
because you're following my lead.
Well, you ambushed
Even
him
if
like
you
he's
weren't there.
ambushed him. Yeah.
Okay.
I tried talking to these goblins.
Yep. Now it's time to go full murder hobo on him.
We have a home, though.
You can be a hobo without a home, can't you? Or with a home?
We're not often in our home.
I think that's
Yeah.
a good.
Probably lots of hobos claim they do have homes.
Okay. Yeah, so in pretty short order, now that you've got a target, you get up to the point where you're pretty much right behind them.
Yeah. So I'll sneak attack them, plant my dagger up in the prime kidney meat, try to muffle their cries, the old stab and cup, a hand around the mouth. Not that they will be crying out as Christopher Lee has instructed me.
Mm-hmm.
But also just so I can, if they kill him in that one hit, then I can ease him to the ground.
All right. Can you see him on the tracker here?
Let me take a look. Yes.
Okay.
Does it matter which one I target?
Yeah. So they're in order there from last to first. So
Okay.
the first one that you could reach would be the private
Private number 2.
2. Yeah.
Poor fella. He probably wanted to be private number 1.
Nah.
Okay. Single attack with blood tooth. Or let me roll 2 for some reason. Looks like I got a 25 on that first one, or that's the same.
That's a hit. Okay. So how did you want this attack to go?
Yes, I went in his back
Okay.
and then wrapped my other hand around his face. And if he dies, I'll bring his body to the ground.
Yeah, so he definitely dies. So you lower him slowly to the platform there, and up ahead his companions are unaware.
Yeah, and then I'll start stalking up towards them.
Okay. All right, and then Casimir. So you've been looking at this for a little while longer, and so the sense that you're getting is that there was some antagonism between like Surtur and Anam, not enmity. It was more that Anam was disappointed in Surtur, and Surtur was trying to regain favor
Okay.
and agreed to whatever that Anam had agreed to with Tarcellus. And so, anyways, the initial theory that you had that this was designed to keep something from coming in is true, and that was what they all designed together. And but it wasn't like there were enemies out there they wanted to keep out. It was that they were sending someone out who couldn't come back until their task was complete, whatever that was, and that is not alluded to.
So it could potentially be maybe sort of metaphorically keeping them, well, like also literally, but more of like a banishment
Right.
type of thing. Okay.
Yeah, well, maybe banishment's not the best, because you don't get the sense, like whoever that they sent, like the sense is that they have heroically volunteered.
Mm.
And it's not like a punishment. So.
All right. So it's not like some demon that's gnashing at this gates
Right.
that they're trying to keep out. All right. I'll try to unbar the door and open it and explode, probably from Dwarven runes.
Yeah, no, they don't. They don't explode, and the bar, despite its construction, is. I mean, you gotta shimmy up there.
Yeah.
To reach it, but it provides almost no resistance. It's incredibly light.
Then I'll try to treat it fairly respectfully. I'll set the bar down up against the wall or something, and then give the door a push or a pull.
Yeah, so you pull it open, and as soon as you do, both heat and light assail you in a blast, and you look out and you see a massive, seemingly endless space, all of it lit by the dim glow of flowing lava. And basically, so what you see as you step out, as you're looking out that door, is there is a path that's like 50 feet wide, and it's not, it seems to be natural, and it sort of moves this way and that, generally in the same direction, but, sort of like a snake-shaped path that it's very wide, but on either side is, a drop into glowing pools of lava.
Fun.
Yeah.
All right. I'll start kind of jogging down the winding path then.
Okay.
Hopefully I can get out of here.
Yeah. So you go out into this open space and you start moving along the path. And as soon as you reach this path, as soon as you reach the point where it begins, and on either side is a drop into the lava. You find a corpse on the ground. So this is a very large orc, but it's dead, dressed as a warrior. It looks to have been killed by a massive sword stroke right through its chest. There's not really an indication when that took place. Like the blood's dried, and because of the heat, there's
desiccation
Yeah.
occurs. Okay. Is it in the uniform of the soldiers we've been encountering?
no.
Any markings or symbols on there that?
Well, this one has a like a large brand on its forehead. This particular one has a it's just like a fist,
Okay.
like a mailed fist. And so the only other thing of note is that it is equipped quite well for an orc.
Yeah.
Like its armor and weapons were very well made.
All right. Yeah, I'll leave it there and continue on.
Okay. All right. Fenrith. So you have been moving along these cliffs, and do a perception for me.
You want it into the tower, or do I use the button?
Yeah, the tower. All right. So you're moving along, and the wind is, blowing the rain, and there's thunder, but you're moving along quite well along these cliffs towards the entrance, and then you see in the light of a lightning strike, you just happen to see a large shadow on the ground of something passing over you, a large bird. But when you glance up, you see, as that light fades, it's pretty high up there, but as that light fades, you see that it's definitely not a roc, but it's much bigger than any bird you've ever seen on the island.
Okay. All right, if it doesn't seem to have noticed me, then I'll continue going.
All right. And then, you continue along some more, and then you see another one when the lightning flashes. This one, it could be the same one. It's hard to say, but it's lower, closer to the ground than the other one was. But you are able to detect the unmistakable metallic sheen to this one as the light reflects off of it before it's dark again, as the light fades. So this one looks, it's smaller than your rocks, but still enormous.
Oh, what? Is it a bird? Can I tell that it's an actual bird or not?
Yeah, it's definitely a bird.
Metallic bird. Okay. Let's see. So I will. I'll pull a coin out. Well, I don't know if I should do that. Pinpoint where I'm at. I'll just try to, keep as hidden as I can while moving.
Okay.
It's gonna be horrible.
All right. Yeah. So, there's, not really places to hide in this terrain anyways, but you're doing your best to try to stick to the larger boulders as you move. But you continue traveling along, and whatever it is doesn't bother you, and you don't see it again. But you're about a mile away now from where that entrance was.
Okay.
All right, Graham, the next one.
Did you want a new stealth roll?
Yeah. Okay.
All right, I commando stock up to that one and repeat the action that I did in the previous turn.
Yeah, go ahead and make your roll. Okay, that's a hit. Yeah, so that, you're talking about private one. So that kills that one too, however you want to describe that action.
Yeah, pretty much the same way, unless the positioning was different. But I just get up behind him, put the dagger in his back, cup his mouth, and ease him to bed.
Okay. All right, so you lay that one down, and the one in front stops suddenly and hunkers down and holds his hand up. And then
I'll stop and hold my hand up behind me, too.
You should grab his hand, like cup it gently.
Doing great.
and he says something in a, I mean, you don't understand the language,
Right, it's goblin.
but he says something, and he's looking up, further up the ramp. You guys are almost to the last ramp before you reach the cliff.
Yeah,
the
I'll
top
just
of the
do
cliff. But he has his hand up, and he's looking up there, and he says something to you.
I'll do a non-verbal, make my voice gruff, sort of grunt.
Okay, do a bluff, or what do we call it in this?
Yeah, I think it's still bluff.
Yeah,
right?
bluff.
Should have just said F it and just stab him.
Okay. Yeah, so you make that, noise or whatever, and he doesn't look back at you. He just keeps looking up. And then after a moment, he, uses the hand signal to keep moving, and he starts creeping back up. So.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'll start closing the distance between him and I.
Okay. All right. So, yeah, you would reach, you're pretty much right behind him at that point. So.
Okay. Well, I will stab.
So this one looks a little different, though. This one clearly was the leader. He's got a bit better armor on him.
Right.
But
I could do a full attack. I'll split up Bloodtooth and just start slicing and dicing.
You do know that at this point, if he cried out, it'd be worse for him than you, because his companions are dead.
Right.
And it's too noisy anyway, so from the storm.
I'll have that first, going with my sneak attack, but then do the rest of my attacks as well.
All right.
So roll those all out here.
That's 2 hits. Well,
Did I miss only one hit?
no, I think more of them should have hit. Let's see. What did you...
I did cover the first half of the D20 pretty well,
Right.
as is my ability.
But that 19, all except the... Let's see. What did you roll? All of those were hits.
Okay.
I'm not sure why it's saying misses.
All right, I should have all the damage out there on him now.
All right. So, yeah. So that kills him too. So you can describe how you want to do that.
Okay, so let's see. So I go in for that initial brutal stab right in a good spot like I normally do. But then I'll slice up under his armpit with my left dagger. And as he's turning around like, I'll just draw him across his throat like that in a scissor motion.
All right.
That's how I always imagine I would use daggers in real life. And my enemies would always be like, "Buh," and I'm just like,
With their head perfectly tilted back.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that kills that one. And now you've got the last section up to the top of the cliff, and then
Okay.
you'd be on the outside of the wall.
Thank God it's raining for you. Otherwise, you'd scare old Folwyn.
It wouldn't scare him. He'd be happy about that.
All right.
More
And then,
bodies to bury
Rohan.
in the garden.
Yeah.
Harvest is going to be good this year.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take the option of the one that was in the ceiling, considering that it kind of felt like all of the rubble dropped down a level, and I'm hoping to get back to the exit if possible. So,
Okay.
yeah, I'll start shifting the rubble and be ready to, move in some way to, if it starts to collapse on top of me.
All right. Yeah. So let's get a reflex save.
Reflex save.
Okay. So you get up on top of some rubble where you can reach that area that you were looking at, and it's like all of the weight of this stuff basically being held by a fist-sized piece of stone at the very top there. So you can sort of look at it and gauge, when I pull this out, this is the stuff that's going to fall, and so this is what I need to do. And as it turns out, your guess was pretty accurate for the way that things were going to happen. So the danger from above was not so bad. Most of the stuff up there was smaller, but you knew there'd be a chain reaction to bring the stuff on the sides that weighed a lot more inward.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what happened. But, because of your quickness, you managed to move out of the way of the dangerous stuff, spring off of some of the heavier things, and leap up into this opening that's been created at the top, which is perfectly square and worked stone, but that used to have like a ladder set into it. Most of the rungs are broken, but you do manage to get a hold of what's left of one of them, and it's enough to pull you up high enough that when the rest of the room finally settles, then you can stand on the rubble.
Okay.
You would definitely have been crushed, but now you find yourself, standing there on relatively stable rubble with this square shaft leading up.
Okay. Yeah, I'll start climbing, using my fly ability if I need to, like if the entire ladder has fallen or something like that.
Okay. Yeah, so it's easy enough to get up there. And you don't know what the ladder was for, what used to be down there, but as you ascend, you reach a point where this branches in multiple directions, but not up anymore now, the cardinal directions, but it's pretty crazy to you how straight it all is.
Okay.
But anyway, you ascend to you reach a point where it then branches off in multiple different directions. And from your standpoint, all of them look the same. So you could go, if we use your survival, let's say it's high enough for you to be able to tell what's north, south, east, and west, then you've got, you could go north, northeast, east, or west.
Okay. Trying to remember. I think that the way we had come in was from the east. So I'll try going that way. But before I do, I'll try and pick up a loose rock, or if I can't find one, then I'll just use my dagger to kind of scratch a mark in the wall pointing which direction I'm going.
Okay. And so you're going to go east?
Yeah.
All right. So as you start moving that direction, these shafts are big, not big enough to walk through, but big enough to crawl, like hands and knees crawl.
Okay.
And as you're moving along, it becomes pretty clear just based on the force of the breeze coming that this probably for ventilation.
That makes sense.
But anyway, you've got a good bit of distance to travel going east.
As I notice the breeze, do I feel it coming into my face, or is it coming from behind me?
Into your face.
Okay. So yeah, that'll encourage me.
All right. Yeah. So you continue moving in that direction, and it's hard to say because you're crawling, but you estimate probably about 1,000 feet before you reach the end of this shaft, and then it angles sharply up.
Okay. Is it an angle that I can?
So you could make the turn upward.
And can I climb it without needing to make checks or?
Yeah. I mean, the walls are smooth, but just they're the perfect distance for you to do that thing we all did in the door frames when we were kids,
Yeah. Spider crawl your way up.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. I'll keep heading my way, hopefully towards freedom.
Well, and as it turns out, that's exactly what it leads to. And you start to smell the ocean, and then, that breeze is coming, brings that smell, but also water starts falling on your on your face as you move upward. And, as you look up, you can see the blackness of the cloudy night sky. And you pull yourself out of this and find yourself on a cliffside
Okay.
of the rock cliffs.
I'm just going to lay there for a few moments, just thankful to be out of this rubble. And then it's going to start to dawn on me that Graham and Fenrith and Casimir were all down there as well.
Yeah, that's true. So you, this isn't like, some sort of space that was meant for someone to be on. This is the sort of space that is for mountain goats.
Yeah.
So there's room for you to lay down and catch your breath, but that's pretty much it. So looking up above, you've got another, 300 feet to the top of this particular spire that you're on. And then, looking down, the ground is out of sight because it's too dark. But
Okay.
so really, from where you are, there's really nothing to see except for when lightning flashes. Then you get a good view of the terrain. And you're, so when that happens, you realize that you're facing directly out to the ocean.
All right.
The village would be, to your left from the way you're facing.
All right. I'll slowly gather my wits and realize I need to head back and try and get help to maybe clear away rubble to help get the rest of the heroes out and kind of shake off my own ordeal as I enable the fly ability to get up to the top of the cliff and start my way back.
Okay. All right. So Casimir, you continue along this path, and so you're standing there looking at that corpse, and then you move along. 10 feet later, you see that the entire surface of this path that you're on is covered by a massive rune, 10 feet tall and as wide as this path is.
Can I get a read of what the rune is, or is it just kind of obscured because of its height?
Yeah, so, you can get a sense that this is, let me make this should be a healing rune.
Okay. Well, I guess we can test it out. It's blocking the entire path?
Yeah.
Yeah,
there's no way not to cross it unless you fly around.
Yeah, so I'll climb up and start walking across it.
Sorry, it's not. It's set into the floor, but it covers the entire
I see what you're saying.
floor. So.
All right, yeah, so I'll just begin. I'll take a couple cautious steps first, and if I'm not immediately turned to dust, I'll figure I'm good.
Yeah. All right. So you start walking across it, and you don't turn to dust. Once you reach the midpoint, it flares like runes do when they're triggered, and so it's a bright orange light flares up and covers you, but it doesn't cause any damage. It heals all of your wounds.
Okay, nice.
And then right there on the other side of it, like literally a step off the other side, you see a pile of corpses.
I'll jog on over to them and check out what they are.
Yeah, so it's hard to get the story here. It's just multiple corpses, but all of them are dressed as though they were warriors, and all of them have been killed by some sort of massive blade, is what it looks like. So you've got another orc. This one has a totally different brand, and on the back of its head instead of on the forehead, this brand is like a mailed fist holding arrows.
Okay.
Let's see. You also see a what you're pretty certain was a hill giant, but the head's gone, sliced cleanly off. Also dressed in much higher quality armor than a hill giant normally should have. And there's no way to get a sense of, like I said, when they died. But based on the the markings on the ground, dried blood stains. There's evidence that this pile, at least, that some of them were dragged to this pile and left there. And rather than having all died in that same spot. But so yeah, you've got the orc, and then what you're pretty sure was a hill giant, just based on the size and its body. Another one is of it's a little bigger even than that, that you haven't encountered before. This one had 2 heads, and it has been sliced in half vertically from between those 2 heads to the waist. So it's laying splayed with one half, so that one's dead. You see a naga.
Okay.
The full snake kind is in that pile. There is a halfling. The interesting thing about the halfling is that that halfling was killed by its throat being cut. But like as you're staring at this carnage and this pile of bodies, it's like that halfling's throat was cut exactly enough to kill it. Like perfectly the exact amount, not too much, not too little.
Graham was here.
I was going to say, you're probably thinking, did we come through here?
So you recognize those. There's some more though. There's
Splitting it in half sounds like a Fenrith thing.
there are 2 humans in that pile.
Are they branded like the orcs, or
No, they don't have any sort of markings like that. They're just both of them dressed in full plate that didn't stop whatever blade was swung at them. But then there is, so I said 2 humans, right? There's another thing that I don't think you have ever encountered, and it's of a size with, what you guys were before you had your growth. Let me get the description for you. So this was humanoid, but with scaly skin and webbed fingers and toes and sharp fangs. It's not scaly in the same sense as the naga. It's more fish scaly. But I don't know if you guys ever encountered the Suhuagin.
Yeah, I think I actually speak their language.
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't recognize it because there was like way when we first started, it was like part of like a backstory for like the hero of the rock, like type thing that I was dreaming up. But it was, there was a hero that fought them like in the past is what I was going with.
Yeah.
But we've never actually encountered them.
So that's what you see there. And then, that's it for the corpses there.
All right. Am I going to have problems getting around them? Or?
No. There's plenty of space.
All right.
Because this path is like 50 feet wide in general.
Okay.
So there's plenty of room. So
yeah, I'll take a quick look, make sure there's no other markings on any of the other ones other than the orcs. If there isn't, I'll just continue onward.
No more markings.
Okay.
So the path continues on, and like I said, it's a sort of a snake-like shape to it, but generally in that same direction. And you notice there is a slight incline, to a very slight incline as you move along. And everything is still lit by that glow. You can see when you look down, you can see lava down there on the, there are points at which whatever mist or dust is or haze is in the air, parts enough that you can see like the wall to this cavern where you can see lava flowing down the wall from somewhere. And from time to time you can see that, but generally you're not seeing a lot of other features to this cavern. But you move along another 100 feet and you reach a point where the path widens out to a clearing of sorts, roughly circular in shape, about twice the width of the platform. And on here, you can see a lot of evidence that people camped here. So there are tents still set up, picket lines that don't have any beasts picketed to them, but sections of the floor that you can see had been used for cooking and building fire, as silly as that seems in this area. And then on the other side of this, the path continues along. You don't see any corpses in this area, but there are a few tents that are still, like a lot of them have fallen down.
Is there any tent that would be kind of like higher up, like a higher class looking tent? Maybe like someone who would be running this?
Yeah, I mean, you can see a couple that the ones that are still standing are those type because they're higher quality materials. So you can see that whoever had set those up was a person of means, at least. So,
I think I'll try to detour over to one, see if there's any like documentation, or battle plans, or try to get a feel for what was going on here.
All right, let's do a perception for me.
There you go.
Nice. Okay. All right, so you do one of them, probably the nicest of them, and certainly sized for something much larger than you. And so you step into that, pavilion, essentially, and you can see giant-sized furniture, like a full bed and that sort of thing, a desk. But there are writing implements and parchments and paper on that desk. And so you move in that direction to look at those. And Graham, you've made it to the top now, and so you can see not too far away the gate through the wall of your house.
Okay. Well, I will approach the house cautiously to make sure there aren't more goblins about.
All right, do a perception. Yeah, there's nothing around of any note, nothing dangerous.
Is the gate normally locked?
Not for somebody like you.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I'll get through one way or the other. And then, isn't Fenrith here? No?
I think he's marching to the rock cliffs.
Too bad. I was going to say I'd run in. Hopefully he'd be sleeping. Start taking his breastplate off. You don't have to do this anymore, Graham.
Yeah, no, that effect is long gone.
Does it ever truly wear off?
The effect wears off, but the
longing,
the anger that he didn't give him the breastplate still remains.
and that he smacked him a couple times.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so when you get up to the house, you can see light coming through the bottom, the windows from the bottom, and when you step in, Fulwin is there, and he says, "Oh, hello, my lord. It's good to see you. I feared the worst when Fenrith returned alone."
Fenrith's made it back.
He has, but he set out immediately.
Well, where did he go?
He went west again.
All right. Well, thanks for the information, Fulwin.
Mm-hmm.
Do
Would
you
you
have
like
any-
some food?
Yes.
Yes, I've made some food.
What have you made?
A delicious stew with bread, fresh baked. As soon as Fenrith appeared, I started baking it. I have some cheeses and nuts, and here's some wine, and he hands you a goblet.
Well, I just need a small bit to eat on the run.
Mm-hmm.
So
Can't
Well,
pass
here-
that up.
So he nods, and then he hands you, he takes the wine goblet and then hands you a wine skin. Says, "I've filled this," and he hands you like some
cheese and bread.
cheese and bread.
If any of the other heroes arrive, tell them I've gone west after Fenrith.
I will, surely I will. Please be careful, my lord. It's almost time for me to kill you.
Nice try, Fulwin. Yeah, I'll wish him a good day. I'll give him a couple of gold coins.
So,
Yeah.
If Olwen was to kill us, what would he cook you into? Would it be a pie or a stew?
I don't know.
You don't know?
That's a good question.
Think Rohan would be baked into a pie. He's bird-like. That's what you do with birds, it seems.
Yeah.
All right, so
Fenrith would probably be a roast.
you're going to head after Fenrith?
Yeah.
Okay.
I owe him an apology.
What? No.
Yeah, he owes you an apology. He beat the crap
Why
out of
didn't you
you.
let me take your breastplate?
And you got clippers because of him for a while.
If he beat the crap out of me, he's going to have to prove it. I'd say I'm looking pretty good right now.
Yeah.
All right, so Fenrith, you're moving along, getting closer and closer, and then you've reached the point now where, looking ahead in that direction, you can see the flicker of a fire intermittently as the rain allows.
So, is there evidence of this cave-in that happened?
Not that you see.
Okay. I don't know that I have anything. I don't know that I have anything that would help me right now. And they still have their camp set up around here, right?
Yeah, there was a camp set up when you guys went in. There was nobody in it, but they did have it set up.
Okay. There's all, let's see. How far away did we leave the rocks from here?
Well, they went to the cliffs
Oh, okay.
to stand watch and wait for your return.
All right. Well, I'll try to get as close to that entrance as I can without just walking out into the open.
Okay. Do you want to be sneaky?
Not necessarily, because I know it's not going to do much good, and it's only going to slow me down. Just not going to walk out onto any, the path and walk through. Because, well, you know what? Maybe I will. Who knows?
Yeah, roll your stealth anyway.
Are you capable of getting a negative stealth roll? I've always found that's the funnest.
Yeah, he definitely is. Okay. All right. Yeah, so you're moving in that direction. And as you get closer, you can see that the fire that you spotted was not in the camp that they had set up. It's like a few feet away from that. There's a little fire set up underneath the outcropping or underneath a large boulder. And they've sort of fashioned a lean-to to block the wind. And there's so the fire's still going, and then there's a couple of forms wrapped up in cloaks next to it, and they don't seem to have noticed you.
Okay. All I see is the two.
Yeah.
Do I see any weapons laying around?
No.
Okay. Well, I will, I'll continue in, draw my sword as I move up.
Okay. All right, so you move forward and draw your sword, and then why don't you go ahead and roll initiative. Okay. All right, so you move forward, you draw your sword, and they don't seem to notice you. It's too loud, and the storm's too heavy. So now we've gotten to where you're 30 feet away from them, but they haven't noticed yet. So what would you like to do?
Try something a little different here. I'm gonna cast darkness on like a coin or something or a rock, and toss it, not right out in front of them, but off to the side, more as a distraction, right?
Okay.
Let's see if that works. I'll kind of hunker down and see if I can get them to move away.
All right, so you cast darkness on a coin and you throw it nearby them?
Yeah, more like off, kind of like forward and off to the left of them, right? Is
Okay.
enough to where they should be able to notice it there, but not so close to me that...
So are you wanting any of the darkness to envelop them?
No.
Okay. All right. Just throwing it out there.
And more something for them to investigate, hopefully. Because if it doesn't work, then I'll just kill them.
Okay. All right. So let me make their rolls here. All right. So actually, yeah, both of them, both of their heads snap up. And, they both are looking in the direction where that landed. You can see then that one of them has a staff that was laying on the ground next to him, and he stands up with it. And then the other stands up, and you can see that one has one of those rifles that these people carry. But they're both looking in the direction of where that coin landed, and they slowly start moving that direction. One of them calls out, "Who's there?" But that'll bring it to your turn then.
All right. So once they start moving off that way, I'll try to move, like, if I have enough space, like backing around a little bit, just to be able to bypass where their little camp was. To try
okay.
And get around to the entryway.
All right. Go ahead and do another stealth. Okay. Yeah, so they're moving off over there to inspect that, where they heard that sound, and then you do see a way where you could skirt around them and get to where the entrance to the cavern was, or to the temple.
Okay. As I'll start going around that way then. So I don't know if they have any more of these robots around or whatever they are, the law bringers, but I don't think I can take another one right now. So.
Okay. All right. So you start moving over there, and you don't hear, at least not yet, any sound, any indication that they have detected you. So, Rohan.
Mm-hmm.
So you've caught your breath now.
Yeah. Am I at the top of the cliff?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I'll start. Well, if I take a look to the west, how close am I to the rock cliffs?
You're in the rock cliffs.
Oh.
Yeah.
Do I have any kind of whistle I use to summon Tempest?
Yep.
So yeah, I'll do that. See if I can get him to respond.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So you pull that out, and you blow on that. It's not, you can't hear it, but you blow on that whistle. Graham, how fast did you want to try moving? Because of your particulars, you can see pretty well despite the storm.
Yeah, I'll just move at normal speed. I suppose I should have told Fullwind about the goblins. But yes, I'm walking along. Does West take us through the village?
No.
No?
No.
So I'm not going to come across any people?
No, you shouldn't.
Well, in that case, actually, maybe I'll divert to the village and issue a warning that there's some enemy activity
Okay.
occurring. And then I'll head off after Fenrith from that point.
All right. So when you get back into the village, you can see that nothing held still while you all were out and about. There's signs of battle everywhere in the village. The council hall in the center has some burn marks on its northern wall, and there are quite a few corpses here and there of goblins and humans and some elves. Most of the village center is now surrounded by a wooden palisade, and it seems to you like, based on the numbers, that they might have just decided to cede the outer village and move towards the center together to defend it. That's what it seems like. But you're quickly able to find Nagrim, and tell him.
Okay.
And he says, "Yeah, well, it's not surprised, but thanks for letting us know."
Hey, you didn't happen to see Fenrith. I know he didn't leave the house this way, but just in case.
Oh, no, we haven't seen him since before you guys left.
All right. Well, thank you.
Have you seen? He asked if you've seen the mayor.
I haven't. I just recently got back.
Nobody's seen her for hours.
Well, that doesn't seem good.
Yeah, we're starting to fear the worst.
Time for you to take up the mantle of mayor.
Are you ready to hold a new election? Is that how mayors are determined?
Flashback to Graham on a switchbacking path outside the house. Were those goblins? Did you get a good look?
Those were my political enemies. Well, when's the last time anybody saw her? Or where?
It was not too long after you all left, and we saw her here at the council hall, but we haven't. There was a battle. We were attacked, and after that, nobody could find her. People keep asking me for orders now, and I guess I can handle it. But a lot of people are starting to get worried, wondering what happened to her. I'm afraid maybe they took her. That'd be the best case scenario. It's a possibility she's dead, laying under some of the rubble of these houses.
Well, we'll look into it. I gotta find the rest of my companions first.
Okay. But the quicker you all get back here, the better. I'm not sure if we can hold out.
We'll be back soon. And then I'll head off.
Okay. So you turn and start headed that direction when something catches your eye and that blood-tooth vision that, means that the rain and the darkness don't mean as much to you, and you catch the sight of some massive creature hurling through the sky. And over across the village center, up on top of the blacksmith shop, there's someone up there on that roof. Some young elven boy, but he's got a bow, and he's keeping watch. And this massive avian form swoops down and snatches him up in its talons, and then just is gone into the darkness. He didn't even have time to shout. Other people did see it, and they shout, but that's what you see. So as soon as you register that all happened, you feel the gust of wind, some massive force behind you, and you wheel around to see that another one of these has swooped down and snatched Nagrim in its talons. And, it all happens so quick, but you turn and that's what you see is this massive thing. It's, like I said, it's not as big as your rocks, but it's
Pretty big.
Really big. Slams into Nagrim with this force that you can feel in your chest. And then it thrusts, its wings as if to take flight. But in this case, it doesn't work out for it. And Nagrim snatches a hold of it and pulls it to the ground. And then he's roaring and he's, swinging his axe into it. That's when you notice that it's like a metal bird.
Oh, okay.
Like, because there's sparks as his axe slices into it. And then beyond that, there's blood and bone. And it's like, it's as big, well, it's as big as a house. It's huge.
Okay.
So, like, all of this force buffeting you from its wings, and it's thrashing around, and Nagrim's, screaming curses in a language that you don't understand, but he's slicing into it. But that all happens within the span of 2 seconds.
And how far away did I get from him?
You're like 10 feet away.
Well, I'll help him since I'm there, if I can.
Yeah, so basically that's what you see, and then you dart over. But, you can tell already that after the failure of its initial attempt to lift him off, take off with him, it's trying to get away. And it manages to slip out of his grip and take flight. And let's see. So it does manage to, Nazus, I'm sorry, I keep saying Nagrim, Nazus. It does manage to get away and take flight, unsteady wings, right, dripping blood. And but you can see a lot of its feathers were left behind. And those, like, they're definitely made of some metal, and they're extremely sharp.
Oh, okay.
And then Nazus, for his part, doesn't seem to be wounded from that, but he's definitely fired up now, and he's got the rage on his face. So,
Oh, yeah, I'll clear out again.
And he screams out, "Watch the skies!" And then he looks to you and says, "We're going to need your birds."
Yeah, we left them back where we flew to, right?
Mm-hmm.
You better hurry back. There'll be nobody left here but me.
That's okay.
Plot twist. We abducted the mayor.
As long as the village of Cradle stays, it doesn't matter what happens to the
Technically,
people.
we need the elfish people. If what is it? Because they're gonna wipe us out. And if that happens, then Coralon dies.
Well, I'll give him my assurances that I will return as soon as I can.
Okay.
But I gotta find them first. And now I'll head west.
All right. So west you go, and then Casimir, inside this tent, you climb up on the table. This was a writing table. It's got like all the giant-sized ink and
Okay.
quill pen and stuff. And taking up the center portion of that table is a leather-bound book. This is a large book, and on the front of it, it says the Journal of Threnzom, Threnzom.
Okay. I'll flip towards the end, like the last entries that I can find, see what was going on.
Right. So you flip through there, and at the end, it's like a passage or a little writing that says, after a long and arduous adventure, I finally reached the point of battle, and I will challenge him tomorrow. And if there are no further writings, you'll know that I was not successful.
Well, Threnzon, seems you were not successful. Let's go a little bit further back in time. Let's see, maybe what was leading up to this.
Okay. Yeah, so you thumb back a bit to see if you can get some more information. And then Fenrith.
Yeah.
You find that opening again that you guys had went in before.
Okay. So I'll start through there, try and make my way as close as I can get into that area.
So basically, you can make it through and then down the steps, but then as you get to the bottom and you look at the massive, essentially gate that marked the entrance to that, is nothing but a pile of rubble now.
And Rohan is lost for good. Give me just a bit. Let's go on with somebody else, so I can see if there's anything that might be able to try and do.
All right. So Rohan, you blew on that whistle and you wait a bit, and eventually Tempest arrives.
Okay.
And she comes, she lands next to you and says, hello.
I'll say, hello. Have the other rocks seen their riders emerge anywhere, or had any sign of them coming out?
No, nobody's seen anything. We were sleeping. I only woke because of the whistle.
We must wake the others and have them start searching. The passages collapsed underneath the ground, and I managed to escape through one exit, but I've lost track of the others.
I'll go wake them immediately.
I'll come with you, and then we must hurry to the village to gather people to help dig them out should they be trapped beneath the rubble.
Okay. Yeah, so she, bends down so you can get on.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll climb on her back and continue hoping that the others manage to find some sort of an exit like I did.
Okay.
Though they'd be stuck on a cliff face if they did.
All right. And then Graham's moving back, and I think that's a good stopping point for today.
Okay.
All right.
If we go much further, then we'll have to go
A lot
all
further.
the way.
Duh. Oh, man. Thank you.
Yeah, so we'll pick it up there next session with Ron going to wake up the rest of the rocks to do it.
This has been a Death Watch production. Thank you for listening.